Welcome to Almost Agreeable.
Almost Agreeable.
With your hosts, Chris Nellison and Ed Harris. Hang around and listen to opinions on sports, movies, music, and whatever else pops in our head.
All right, welcome back to another episode of Almost Agreeable. I'm one of your hosts, Chris.
And I'm Ed Harris, again.
And today we have another guest on our show. This will be our second guest, right? And I'd like everyone to say hello to Courtney. Courtney, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
She's here to continue our discussion about Game of Thrones, which we last week finished off talking about Season 5. So today we'll be talking about 6, 7, and 8. Doesn't mean we can't refer back to 1 through 5. There's probably a lot we missed. As a matter of fact, I know there are things we missed.
There's a lot that we missed. I mean, let alone the books, but just the show. We barely even talked about everything that was happening in, like, Essos, like Marine, and all the Slaver's Bay. So I know we missed out on a lot of that.
Right. And just so we kind of get a background with Court, is so like, you've seen the series, obviously.
Right.
Otherwise, you wouldn't be here. But have you read any of the books?
Yeah, it's been a bit. I read the books back in, I started reading in like 2013. And read them as they came out, like the last one, read it right when it came out. So it's been a bit, but I love the show, love the books, and so it's just one of those loves that I share with you guys.
Okay, sweet. Well, I guess we have two superior people here. I'm not one of them. I'm not a book reader. But I like that you are, because now I can bounce ideas off of both of you when it comes to the books. As a matter of fact, I have a hot route for both of you tonight. Now that I know that you've read the books, it's perfect. The stars aligned for this hot route that I got coming in. So awesome, thank you for that. But I guess let's jump right in, pick up right where we left off. Right, Jon Snow is dead.
Jon Snow's dead.
He's a dead person.
End of season 5. Jon Snow's dead, and that's how the books leave off. That's
right.
The last thing that happens in the books. Like, right, he's dead.
Yeah.
I said this last week. I was like, yeah. As soon as that happened, all the smug book readers they stopped being smug after that. They didn't know what was gonna happen either.
Like, what did you think? Like, going into season 6, do you have any, like, expectations? Like, do you think he was going to get raised back for it?
I hoped for it just because you love Jon Snow, you gotta love him. But I was kind of just, I didn't know what to expect because, reading the books, I was like, I know what's going to happen. And they kind of went away from the books, at that point. But it was kind of exciting because I didn't know what was going to happen. So it left an element of surprise, and I like that.
Well, I guess it also is, you got to attribute to your feelings about what was going to happen in season 6 to what we had seen up until that point, that no one was safe. I said in the last episode that, like, there was no plot armor for anybody until season 6.
That's
okay.
Exactly what happened.
Up until then, you're like, he could be fucking dead. I don't know. And lucky for us, he wasn't, right? Obviously, like you said, everyone loves Jon Snow, right? Mm-hmm. So, yeah, we got lucky. He comes back. We get the return of the red woman here, who is actually an old lady. Very, very old.
She's got some knee knockers, but, like, not the good... Not like the
early 30s, late 20s, but like the
Like, whoa. You can roll those things up.
Right, and this is fresh after she, burned Shireen at the stake.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah.
That was probably, I cried a lot when I watched that.
So that's something that I think is overlooked when it comes to such a gap, because we're in this age of binging TV shows. To where, like, on Netflix, you could just be like, I'm going to watch all 7 seasons in the next couple weeks. We didn't do that with Game of Thrones. So you almost kind of was like, when she revived Jon Snow, you were like, almost like everything's forgiven. I mean, it wasn't, but it wasn't fresh in your head that she had just killed Shireen.
Well, it wasn't even like it wasn't even like he was revived. It wasn't like they come back episode 1 and Jon Snow's alive again. Like, it worked. She's trying to revive him and it worked. In episode 1, he's still dead.
It's not till episode 2, right?
It's not till the end of episode 2.
Yeah.
That he finally he takes his breath.
Right.
He's alive
again. And then 3 picks up with Davos, like, catching
Exactly.
him. Right.
Me, personally, I would have liked for him to just be dead a little bit longer. Like...
Let it hang.
Yeah.
Let it hang. Like, end of episode 2 is just... I feel like it's too early. It's too, like, predictable. Because, like, why else would they keep showing his dead body?
Right.
Why else would they keep harping on that? Just like, oh, he's dead.
Well, this is the beginning stages of, like, rushing the final seasons.
Yeah.
I mean, this is the beginning of that.
Yeah.
Just also, so like as a refresh into season 6 here, like we can't forget that Cersei had just blown up the Septa Baelor, right? Is that no? That's end of season 6.
That is the end of season
End of
6.
season 6. So in season 5, she does her Walk of Atonement. So we got a pissed off Cersei now in King's Landing, and she wants Jaime to go rescue Myrcella in season 6, right?
Yeah.
And go down to Dorne, which we don't see any Dorne really until this season. We have a little bit of taste of it when we see Oberyn.
Yeah, we see the Viper, we see Ilaria, we see the Sand Snakes. We get introduced to the Sand Snakes, who in the books
had a way bigger part.
Boy.
I heard they were badass in the books. They were. I mean, I don't know. I mean, tell us about it.
I mean, I just remember, it's been so long since I read it, but just like 3 badass bitches. Like, I love when like there's some badass women in a story, and to me, like, the Sand Snakes were that little part in the book, and I wish that the show showed a little more about that. They had Ilaria, which I liked, but I just wish they had a little bit more of the Sand Snakes and more of Dorne altogether.
The whole Dorne plot, there was such a deep plot in Dorne that, you know, he was sending Doran Martell was sending his son. He was playing multiple sides. Like, he had Arianne Martell trying to become the princess of Dorne, because they don't have queens or kings, they just have prince and princesses. So Doran Martell was the prince of Dorne, but he was still like the highest monarchy. And then he was playing the other side. He sent his son Quentyn Martell to Essos to try to treat and really seduce Daenerys. So he's kind of playing both sides. It really doesn't work out. Spoiler alert for Quentyn Martell. He gets burned because he tries to talk to Dany. And it's like, hey, I'm from Dorne. Mm-hmm. I'm a prince's son. What's up? You should just, like, dig me. And at that point, she is, like, all about... What's old dude?
Jorah?
No, never. Not Sir Friendzone.
Well, you said old dude. You're talking about the dude that she's... Dario. I knew it.
Naharis.
Dario Naharis.
I knew it started with a D. Samsonite. I was way out. I knew it started with an S, though.
Yeah.
So she's all about him at that point. Like, he's
right.
balls deep, so she's all about him.
He's hot.
The original actor was hotter, though.
Long hair.
Yeah.
Yes.
Isn't that the villain from Deadpool?
Yes.
Okay. Just trying to connect the dots here.
So she's all about him at that point. So in the books, this guy comes in and is just like, hey, I'm from Dorne. Like, we can make an alliance. And she's like, why do I need you?
Right.
I don't need you. Go away. Like, literally go away. And so he's like, all right, I'll prove it to her. I'll go under her pyramid where she's at and tame her dragons. And, like, you know, like...
I forgot about all of this.
See, yeah, it's just like, I'll tame her dragons and, like, she'll love me like I'm the dragon master. And then he gets burned immediately.
What a fucking tool.
I mean, he tried. He tried.
Oh, he's trying.
Oh, he's trying. So that's just some of the aspects of Dorne that I wish that they really threw in there. Made it more like the earlier seasons where there is a lot more strategy.
Right. And I guess we can... I guess I'll just say this, is that, like, we talked about seasons 1 through 5 in such a high note.
We had a high regard for 1 through 5, for sure.
And so, like, I think coming into this, we knew that this is the beginning of where it was started to get bad.
It's on the downturn right now.
So there's going to be a lot of that. But there were a lot of good things, okay, obviously still in Season 6. We had Battle of the Bastards in Season 6. We had the Septa Baelor getting blown up in Season 6.
We had The Door.
Can we not?
Oh, no.
I know.
I said good things, Ed. I was saying good things.
Okay, it's a good cinematic episode, okay?
Okay, that's true.
Okay.
Did it make anybody feel good? No.
Yeah, if you weren't crying after the episode, you have no soul.
Dude, Season 6, Episode 5, The Door, just hurts. It just hurts.
Who knew? Who knew that the whole time he's running around saying Hodor that?
Yeah.
That it's Bran's fault.
With his timey warpy thingy.
Yeah, but who has a better story than Bran?
We're not at Season 8 yet.
Sorry.
Trying to bring this up last week, too.
Sorry.
God, yeah. Okay, The Door, yeah. I guess that whole Bran storyline kind of pissed me off, too.
I mean, he wasn't in Season 5 at all.
Right.
At all.
Because at the end of Season 4, he gets it through at Raven, right?
Yeah.
And then we don't see him in Season 5.
It's kind of just understood that
he's going through training.
Quote-unquote training.
He's going to be a Jedi Master.
Yeah. Yeah, he'll never get the high ground, but...
Jesus, bro. He's got to really cut the legs out from under him like that?
Oh, my
Yeah, that's how I roll.
Nothing beats a good old-fashioned pair of legs. Okay, I'm sorry. Coming back. I can't. So, Brent, we got to see Benjen, right? Who, fan theory is that he's Cold Hands from the books, right?
Right, yeah, I forgot about that too.
Mm-hmm.
There's so many characters
So many.
that, I mean, realistically, they couldn't put in. They just couldn't.
That's true.
But there are a lot of great characters that were left out of these later seasons.
Right, well, they'd already started deviating so much earlier than that in earlier seasons. So, season 6, we see John leave the Night's Watch, right? Because, hey, right, his promises ended, right? Like, his watch ended. He died. He died.
My watch ended. That was really it.
Loophole.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's all we need to do?
Just die?
Yeah, just die? Is that... And come back? Because I'll do that.
Like, yeah, we can do that. So he's like, yeah, screw it. I'm going to go south. I mean, barely, but like, I'm going to go south.
Didn't really go south.
Not that much.
And then realized, like, yo, who's in my fucking house right now, dude?
Fucking Ramsay Bolton.
Ramsay.
Listen, that letter that he wrote John, because Sansa went to the wall, right?
Yeah.
And then he wrote John a letter saying, like, bring back my wife, and he just kept calling him bastard in the letter. I remember I was like, I'm not even a bastard, but I was so mad.
You're like,
I
hey!
was like, I'll kill this motherfucker. I'll kill him.
Like, you're a bastard.
John had no business winning the Battle of the Bastards, by the way.
Well, no. And that's the whole point. We had this whole... That battle, to me, is the best action sequence of the entire show. Just because it shows despair. Mm-hmm. It shows him, like, I don't think I'm going to win this. And that's what I wanted. I wanted that that sense of failure back in Game of Thrones.
I mean, I felt that way during Hardhome. I mean, taking it back to season 5.
Yeah.
Like, I felt that way as he's rowing away from the dock.
It was really just a harrowing scene just to see, like, everything that you just did means nothing.
Right.
But you're right, though. As far as, like, that's the first time, besides when he was mutinied, that we see John at maybe his most, like, I don't know. You said the word despair. I would say one of his darkest places. I mean, pretty dark when Ygritte died, too. We didn't even talk about that last week. But yeah, I mean, John has such great moments throughout the entire series, I would say up until season 8. And we're going to get there soon enough. We haven't even got to season 7 yet. But Battle of the Bastards, probably, so... You also ruined a hot
I know, I saw your face. I did a thing.
That's cool. I did the same thing to you, so we're fine. Anyways.
Do you have a fourth, though?
I do.
Oh, thank God, you're more prepared than me.
That's like something you were going to ask him, and he mentioned it?
I already fucked it up. Usually whenever we're doing this, like, because you've listened to the hot routes and stuff like that at the end.
I've listened to one, I think.
You listened to one episode?
Like, one through and through, and then I listened to the sports one, like, on in the background.
Okay. Ow, number 1, because we do a hot route at the end of every one.
Okay.
That's it.
I remember... Go on.
But... So usually we just do 3 hot routes, like ask each other 3 questions, and generally we'll come up with 4 because usually one of them will get eaten up just in...
Yeah.
So I just ate one.
Yeah, you did. But I wrote 4, so I have 3
Do you
still.
know what it was?
I said the Battle of the Bastards was the best cinematic action piece of
the series. I was going to ask of 3, and I had 3. So don't worry about it. I'll ask you. I can still ask you. I'll still ask her that hot route. And you can answer all 4 anyways.
Perfect.
But the end of season 6 puts Dany on her way to Westeros. Mm-hmm. Right? It puts Jon as king in the north, and it puts Cersei as queen of the 7 kingdoms.
Yeah. And it just has these 3... I guess, I mean, I don't want to say like 3 heads of the dragon, because that's kind of the whole thing, but
yeah,
it has these 3 powerhouses. Just, they're going to collide, and you're just thinking, in what kind of way is this going to happen?
Right, like, and how is it all going to work? Like, we have Jon, who is, essentially, he's the people's hero. He's not Cersei. He's not Daenerys trying to conquer. He's just trying to be good.
He just wants people to be able to live.
Yeah.
Like, he understands there needs to be a hierarchy, but it's not like he's searching for power. It's not like he's Cersei, who is trying to retain her power, or Dany, who's trying to show that she has power. He's just a guy who's just like, can we not always try to kill each other?
Yeah. He's the son of Ned Stark.
But also he's like, somebody's trying to kill us.
Yeah, and no one's listening to him, right? And that takes us to season 7. But before I get to season 7, do you guys remember one of the last things that happens in season 6, besides the Sept of Baelor blowing up, besides Dany coming, besides Jon being named King of the North? Something else very big happens in that final episode.
What, Tommen just dipping?
No.
Oh, we're on the same page.
We're on the same page. But that feeds right into Cersei, assuming,
Wait, is that Jaime talking to Olenna to be like, I want her to know it was me?
Nope, that's season 7.
Season 6?
Yeah. Something happens to Walder Frey.
Oh my god. That face stealing.
Is it Arya?
Yeah.
Yes!
That's why she
coming
bakes his
back.
sons into pie.
Yes!
She pulls a fucking Sweeney Todd on him.
That's so great.
right.
That was like in the last few minutes of the episode.
Yeah.
Okay, and then the seventh season first episode opens with her poisoning the rest of the family.
Yeah.
Dressed as Walder Frey.
Yes.
So,
oh my goodness.
Yeah, she's just there.
Arya, so many different threads we can tug on.
Yeah, because we didn't even talk about Arya going, to train with the Faceless Assassins.
Yeah, it's kind of a thing that happened.
Yeah, it wasn't that great.
It wasn't terrible. Got real creepy. Too old. It got real creepy.
Yeah, a little bit.
But it was just like she trained with assassins, and you could just kind of sum it up like that. That's really what happened.
Yeah, that's it. That's all you really need to say.
She can steal faces now.
Yeah,
right.
And she's kind of a badass with weapons. So.
Right.
With a dagger.
Needle.
Mine's Needle.
Stick him with the pointy end.
Yeah.
I just watched that episode today.
Aww.
So, yep. So season 7, right? Dany arrives at Dragonstone. Jon is trying to rally the Northmen to his cause, and they're like, "Oh, we don't want to fight with wildlings." Cersei's just a bitch.
Is this when you meet Lyanna Mormont?
Well, so we meet her at the end of season 6 because she pledged 84 men to go to the Battle of the Bastards.
Yeah.
But she gives that amazing speech at the end of season 6 where she's like, "You didn't answer the call. You didn't answer the call. You're a bitch. You're a bitch. We stood with House Stark this whole time. Eat my ass."
The bear, dude. The bear.
The bear. Bear Island.
But just Dany landing on Dragonstone is just kind of full circle. Mm-hmm. It's where she's born.
Right.
And
during a storm.
That's where Aegon landed to start his conquering of the entire
continent of Westeros.
Right, he's the first Targaryen.
Exactly. It's kind of circular, and you're just like, okay, will history repeat itself? You're not sure. All we hear about is Targaryens have this space in their minds where they're just hyper-aggressive, and you can't trust them because of the inbreeding. And we're not sure what we're going to get with Dany. Right,
because that's what it comes down to, essentially, is like, they say the gods flip a coin every time a Targaryen is born. Whether, like you said, they're going to be level-headed or a decent person, or they're going to be like, a mad person, like the Mad King, or Viserys.
Burn them all.
Mm-hmm.
Burn them all. Speaking of Viserys, that dude...
He sucks.
Fucking sucks. Anyways, lands in Dragonstone, and you're ready. You're like, here we go. This is it. And then nothing really happens until, this Unsullied get captured at Castle Rock. And then she fucking goes ham on the loot train. And Jaime gets to see firsthand the Dothraki in the field.
Dothraki on an open field.
On
an open field, Ned!
That's what I wanted to solicit from you just now, okay? And you did beautifully. He gets to see dragons, right? He gets to see the scorpion in action and say, "Oh, this is not very accurate. Scorpion's not going to do a whole lot, although..."
But also, we realize we can hurt a dragon.
Yeah.
Like, it shoots it at it hits it, and it realizes, oh shit, like, we can hurt this unfathomable beast.
Right. But also, like, that whole loot train got fucked up.
Well, yeah. And then Jaime's like, I'm going to save the day and just charge at a dragon.
Yeah. Thank God for Bronn, right?
Just like, I got this.
Because at this point in the story, you know, you are Team Jamie. You're like, they done such a great job. I think we talked about it last week of his redemption arc. And at this point in season 7, like, it's at a point where you're like, okay, I like Jamie. Can he not go charge a dragon? Can he not die right now?
It's kind of the pinnacle of him turning his back on everything he stood for forever, for his whole life. And, I mean, yeah, he's still fighting for... At this point, he's really just fighting to make sure a foreign invader doesn't take over. That's all he cares about. He's just like... He's not caring about Lannisters or Starks or anything. He's just like, I don't know who this foreign person is trying to take over. That's what I don't want.
Right. And then he even goes back to King's Landing and he's like, Cersei, we can't fucking win. Like, and she's like, oh no, I got dudes coming with elephants and shit. It's like, little do you know that in season 8 the elephants aren't coming, bitch.
Oliphants.
This isn't Lord of the Rings. This isn't Middle Earth. This is Westeros.
Only barely.
Kinda, you're right.
No, I mean that's what I do love about this is that it's its own, you know, kind of thing. And I mean, we didn't even touch on, like, this season was the first season to not be 10 episodes.
It was 7 or 8?
They dropped this one down to 7.
Oh my god.
That's right.
So it was season 7 episodes.
This is where fast travel started. Even if enemies were around, you could still fast travel. It wasn't like Skyrim.
Exactly.
Where, like, it was like, cannot fast travel when enemies are around. They were, like, dipping out everywhere. Like, oh, I'm going to get to King's Landing in a day. Use my fucking rocket ship. This is where it started getting, like, frustrating.
Yeah.
There was still some good high points in season 7, though. Obviously, I think the one episode that was, like, awesome because of the concept, but just didn't do anything really because it was just a stupid plot line was when they all went north of the wall. Like, the Hound, Beric Dondarrion, Jon, Tormund, Gendry.
Well, there's an actual... Like, somebody did the math of, you know how all of the water or all of the ice just broke around the little island that they were on, like, for their last stand?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So somebody did the math and was like, okay, if I needed this amount of ice to be able to support this amount of skeletons, it would have to be, let's say, 6 inches to 8 inches thick. And for water to freeze that thick at this temperature, it would take this long. So that's how long they were sitting on that island. And then they went back and compared Drogon's speed to some scales, to some references that they have, and figured out how fast he could fly. And actually, how fast he flew to the north, like north of the wall, is actually how long it would have taken for that ice to freeze. So somebody actually did the math and went back and looked at all of that and was like, okay.
So this is plausible, is what you're saying.
This is plausible. This is absolutely plausible. But it was also like, I think it was like 2.5, 3 days or something. Okay.
That they were just sitting
there? That they were just sitting there, and the skeletons were also just like, I'm gonna fucking get you, dude.
And you get the fucking Hound throwing rocks at him.
Yeah.
Fucking idiot. You know what pisses me off about that is he throws a couple rocks and he hits the fucking skeletons, right? And then he throws one and it's just like way, way short. Like the first few throws he was making the distance. I don't understand how all of a sudden he shorts his throws by half of what he had been throwing.
He got tired.
Sorry, I'm nitpicking now. Now I'm nitpicking. And it's only because I love the fucking show so much, okay? But yeah, that episode, in theory, like, just all those dudes going north of the wall to be badasses, love that idea.
Right.
But also, just super fucking unnecessary.
Like, honestly, just a lot happens in Season 7. Like, honestly, a crazy amount of things happen in Season 7. I mean, like, in no particular order, we have Peter Baelish getting executed.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
right.
Like, out of nowhere. We have Viserion getting downed and then resurrected.
Okay, real quick before that. When he went down, Courtney, did you think that the Night King was going to resurrect him right away? Or did it, like, when they were bringing him back out of the water, were you like, oh, fuck?
It was when they were bringing him back out of the
Yeah,
water.
you're
I
right.
thought, in my mind, I'm like, oh man, bye, he's gone. But then, when you see the body, it's like, shit.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And when Littlefinger fucking went, How did you guys like that poetic justice that Arya fucking killed?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Love it. Love it. Sisters.
That was a hot one. That was a hot one. That was the last thing that caught me off guard that I enjoyed.
So I'm not gonna lie, Ed can attest to this, is that like I've taken, okay, so you know how when she's like stating all the crimes and Peter Baelish is like sitting over there like smug, thinking he's talking about Arya, and then like the last minute Chick looks over and she's like, Lord Baelish, and he's just like, what? and he goes, Lady Sansa, I'm confused. He says that, and I've adopted that into my everyday lexicon. Anytime anyone says anything that I'm confused about, I'll look at them and say, Lady Sansa, I'm confused.
I'm confused.
That's pretty good.
With a stupid accent that changes every fucking week. Anyways, yeah, I just want to throw it out there. I say that all the time, and sometimes people are like, "What the fuck are you talking about?" And I'm like, "I'm confused." That's it.
But there's just so many things that happen in season 7 that like it would set it up. It would set it up for maybe an amazing season 8 or an amazing couple extra seasons if they would have taken it up on them. Like we see Bran start to go back in these visions, and we see like Hightower.
Yeah. Okay. So we see that. Okay. So we see Hightower at the end of season 6, the last episode, and that's when we only find out that Jon is just Lyanna's son.
Right.
We don't find out at that point yet that he's a Targaryen. Although you can put like that he's legally a Targaryen.
Yeah.
We just know that you can put it together that like Rhaegar knocked up Lyanna.
Right.
So that's what we know at the end of season 6. And then Bran saw that through his visions. So you go into season 7, like Ed was just saying, and it's like now we know, like for real, that he is Targaryen. He is Aegon Targaryen. He's not a bastard, and even if he was, he wouldn't be snow. He'd be sand. Just throwing that out there, technicalities and all. But yeah, so much happens. Ed. You're right.
Like a lot happens. Like I think season 7 is better than season 6 just because it has a lot of these pivotal moments. But only because you can try to build on these moments. They don't successfully do that, but there are so many pieces of season 7 that are just like, wow, this happened, and it just blows my mind.
And then in season 7, you also have like what?
I mean, we have Euron, like that. He's like a great value Jack Sparrow.
Eyeliner.
Yeah, and that's it. That's all we need to talk about Euron.
Yeah, he sucks.
I mean, okay.
Going back to the books. All right, I feel
Yes.
it. All right, here it comes. He's getting mad.
They left out a lot on Pike and on the Iron Islands and the Sea Throne and the King's Moot and this whole way of life in those islands that they kind of go into in the books. And the drowning. They would drown these young men, and if they basically didn't drown, they would hold them underwater, and if they lived, then that was like a mark of, oh, they're worthy of the crown.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah.
If I'm remembering?
Yeah, it's just like, that's, oh, okay. Like, because that's who they worship, the drowned god.
Yes,
so it's
yeah.
like, if you've been drowned and come back, you have a place.
Right.
Like, you are worthy. It's like, what the fuck?
It's fucked up.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, it's some weird stuff, but like what I was most looking forward to, of course, going back to books in the setting of Pike and with all the Iron Islands, was that Euron was this kind of guy who had been around the world. Mm-hmm. He'd been places that nobody else had been to, and he's seen things nobody else has seen, and things that nobody else could talk about. His ship is called Silence, because he cuts out the tongues of every crew member on his ship.
That's right. It's dark.
So he's seen things that nobody else can even talk about. Because it's his crew. That's it. And really the thing that I was most looking forward to is in the books, they have this dragon binding horn that he has one of his crewmates blow. This is near the end of book 5. He has one of his crewmates blow this dragon binding horn that's supposed to bind, well, a dragon to you. As soon as this guy blows this horn, his lips start to turn to ashes and he starts to disintegrate immediately. So I just wanted to see about what was that about.
Right.
What's going on with all of that? Nothing. Nothing.
Well, not in the show, at least.
Euron should have been this badass, like, magical, like, part of his armor is Valyrian steel. So he should have been so much
more.
He should have been so much more intimidating.
Right. I don't get that vibe from him at all in the series.
He's kind of a joker. He's kind of a
Yeah.
like, I've been around, like, I'm gonna just mess with you type deal. No, in the books he is intimidating. He's somebody to be feared.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well,
There's my rant.
good. So end of season 7, wall comes down, and now it's fucking on. Right. This whole time we've been worried about like, oh yeah, Dany's gonna kill Cersei and blah 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 blah. But then we remember that there's White Walkers and they're coming.
Right.
And that takes us into probably one of the most disappointing seasons, like, in recent memory.
It's the most disappointing season ever.
Okay.
Ever. Definitely. I mean, they come back from their trip north and they bring this white with them.
Right.
Oh, that's right.
Just these bones. Yeah. And they throw them at Cersei's feet and it's just like, this is what we're dealing with.
And she's just like,
Help.
yeah.
Help. Like, I understand you hate me. I hate you. This will kill us all. Help.
Yeah. There's 100,000 more of these coming through the wall right now. And Cersei's like, meh.
That bitch.
Yeah. And then Jaime leaves her, right? Oh, wait, but, cool, season 8 comes and he goes back.
Yeah, at the end. Yeah.
So I would say the first couple episodes, okay. So obviously, yes, should have ran 9 or 10 seasons. But if we're just doing season 8, should have been 10 episodes. We have six episodes in season 8?
6 episodes,
The first 2 episodes are just, like, kind of filler.
They kind of just like preparation for the battle.
The long night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, that's really what it is. Like, we realize that Podrick can sing, and boy, can he sing.
Yeah.
But also, like, what else? Like,
Brienne's a knight.
Brienne's a knight now. Okay?
Yeah. Which is farther than her story ever went in the books, which
Yeah.
I kind of like, but in the books you kind of assume that she died. Right?
Yeah.
Oh, wait, no, she did die, right?
She did.
She was hung.
Yeah. Yeah.
Jesus.
Sorry.
Yeah.
No, you're fine. I mean, I'm not gonna read him unless he finishes the series.
I do like that in the show they kept her alive because I love her.
I am glad that they kept her alive. Like, they could have, and honestly, with her, I feel like they successfully, like, built a great character arc.
Yeah.
Like, if we're not looking at Jaime's arc at all, hers works. Because, like, she's becoming a knight and then falls in love with this knight who has knighted her. And then all of a sudden he leaves and just shows her heartbreak. Like, something that she hasn't really experienced in that capacity before. Of course, she's liked guys before.
Right, or when Renly passed, she had heartbreak then.
Yes.
But it was more of like an infatuation, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like she had a chance. A dude liked the dick.
Proof.
That's true.
So just, it really builds on her character for him to do that. But for him to do that in his character arc was honestly the worst thing that could have happened.
Yeah. Just piss all over it. So then you have the long night that happens, right? No help from the Lannisters. The Dothraki just get wiped out immediately.
Oh, that was scary.
It was, hey, but how can you know? Who could see the...
No one could see it! I was like, Chris, turn up the
Yeah,
the
they were
TV.
watching it over here, and they were like, hey, man, like, what's going on? I was
What's
like,
wrong?
this isn't me, guys.
Yeah, Chris with his blackout curtains. I still couldn't see a thing. I was like, was that a sword? Someone died. There's smoke.
Who's dying right now?
I think that's fire.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Are they flying through clouds? The only thing that you could see was when they came above the clouds.
They went above-
That shot was amazing.
Oh,
Immaculate.
yeah.
That was perfect. Seeing those 2 dragons above the clouds in the moonlight.
Mm-hmm.
Best thing that happened the entire episode. Also the only thing you could see the entire episode. So it doesn't really have a lot of competition.
Okay, so it does have competition. You're fucking stop. Okay? Because Lyanna Mormont charges a fucking giant, bro.
Yes.
Dude.
And then even though she's
How
only
did
a
that-
character for
how-
a little while, that was one of the most heartbreaking fucking deaths of the series.
I was
So
gonna say,
heroic,
how did
too.
that work?
She killed the giant.
Yeah, but how did that work out?
She died, bro. And then she came back as a white. Let's not forget.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Oops. But dang. So this is when, honestly, most people are being like still hype. Most people are watching episode 1 and the end of episode 2, saying like, "Yo, like, Podrick singing that song gets you battle ready.
Yeah.
It gets you hype, and
The
you're just
calm
like,
before the storm.
yes.
To
Like
fucking do it.
everybody at this point was still like, I'm totally on board. Like, this is the shit.
Well, let's not forget that Jon picks the most inopportune time to tell Dany that he's a Targaryen.
Yes,
Right before the fucking battle.
right before it, and so
What's she supposed to do with that information right then?
just be like, okay.
Just be like, you're a threat.
And then we get to the battle, and now we're seeing parts of Game of Thrones that just never happen. We're seeing this battle happen, and nobody of importance dies. It's not like people who are important need to die, but they're facing these endless odds that are just insurmountable in what we've been shown for
7 seasons at this point.
8 years.
Yeah.
Right.
It's just not how Game of Thrones is.
Right.
You're seeing, like, why in the fucking world would Sam be alive?
Right? We had bets before we
We
watched
did. We were like doing little
this
dollar
episode.
bets, dude. Like we were like,
How
hey.
many you think are gonna die?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Over
None of us,
under,
like-
over under was like, we set it at like 4.
Yeah.
There's no shot that Sam would be alive. He is not a fighter. He's just sitting there crying on dead bodies
And not getting killed.
and not getting killed. Like,
I don't know how they all come out of it. And so, yeah, so it's frustrating, but we're running short on time. Let's jump into the last 2 episodes, right? We have the Bells and the Iron Throne. Okay? The Bells.
The Bells.
Okay,
Oh, gosh.
like I said, short on time. So let's hit it. Let's sum up both these episodes with some hate real quick. Let's fucking go.
Cool. Danny got triggered.
But why?
Danny got triggered. So let's go back a little bit, okay? Euron apparently is so like how I
His
said
cloaking device.
Well, how I said somebody did the math for that ice freezing when they were all standing on that island north of the wall. Somebody also did the math for what Euron would have to do to hit that shot on her dragon, and it's fucking outlandish. He would have had to shot, I think it's about 20 to 25 seconds early. The travel for that scorpion bolt would have been about 20 seconds. And he would have had to aim, like, I don't know, a couple hundred yards to the left and a couple hundred yards high to hit
and
that.
hopefully it kept its flight path.
And hope it
It's
kept
not an
its flight
airplane.
path.
Like
Exactly.
it can do evasive maneuvers.
So that's what would have had to happen. And guess what? He didn't just hit 1. He hit 2.
He did.
He hit 2 shots. So he fired a shot and was like, yeah, this is going to work again. And then fired another one. And then about 15 seconds later, the first one hit. So that is the first thing, like, that we're realizing, holy shit, like, dragons can die from a Night King spear and from a scorpion. And then King's Landing is like, yeah, cool, we can kill him with a scorpion. So they get like 50 of them. And none of them hit a dragon at all. Mm-hmm. At all.
None of them.
None of them hit a dragon.
Not
and
even fucking close.
Not
And then
even
Drogon
close.
was a way better target. He's bigger. He was closer. Like,
he's black, so he works against the sky.
Yeah.
Like his outline against the sky is perfect. So and Danny's like, oh, okay, cool. I took out all these scorpions. Let's call it a day. Are those fucking bells?
And then her face and those nostrils just.
bro, she fucking lit King's Landing up.
Oh god.
My God. And like, God, there's so much that happened in this episode because, look, we had Clegane Bowl happen.
Oh my god,
yeah.
that's right.
Clegane Bowl happened, and the Hound, ended his journey with Arya, and it was really sweet. He was like, pretty much told her, like, hey, little bitch, where I'm going, I ain't coming back. So make your decision right now if you want to fucking do this. And she was like, good luck.
Hey, have a good one.
Yeah, bye-bye.
And let's just touch on just like, hey, Arya's a face stealer, so we could have just solved this entire thing if she goes and takes somebody's face that Cersei knows and then just kills Cersei. Oh, and then we're good. That could be the whole thing.
That's it.
That could be the whole thing.
We don't have Jaime and Cersei dying under bricks.
It's just like, man, we're just like, oh, who's going to kill Cersei? Oh, is it going to be Tyrion? Is it going to be Jaime? It's a rock.
God bless.
Oh gosh.
And then, John kills Danny for the greater good, which I can see. That's something that I could see.
For the greater good.
Stop. I could see that. So, it's just so rushed. It's so
really
rushed.
is.
That was the problem. The problem was not what they did.
It's how they did it.
It's how they did it.
You kept thinking about wherever you could.
Okay.
You didn't have to think about if you should.
So let's
Thank you. You're welcome. You're welcome.
let's acknowledge that it was a kind of snap decision, a rushed version of turning Danny evil. But let's also talk about how she crucified all of the slave masters.
That was dark.
This is a point you brought up to me when the season first ended, and everyone was freaking out about how quickly Danny was angry, and you were like, bro, she has a history of violence.
She watched her brother get cast in gold and was like, yeah.
Yeet.
Yeah.
This is season 2?
Yeah, because John was like, hey, don't look, and she was like, I have to look.
I have to look.
And she's getting off on it. She's just yeah,
Dude,
burn that motherfucker.
she loved it. So that was the first inkling. So if they expanded on it more throughout the seasons than just kind of spots here and there, believable.
It can't
Believable.
Be. It can't be.
That's what I was thinking, that just you know what, Danny is crazy. I mean, we can all see it. She's not rational. She's not. And so she's going through all of these motions of building this insanity. She just keeps saying, I'm not my father, I'm not the Mad King,
Right.
while displaying her tendencies of being the Mad King. But in 30 minutes.
Yeah.
And then it's just kind of sad because Varys is really the only one that sees it early on, and then he gets killed.
Yeah.
I'm just glad he outlived Peter Baelish.
Right.
I preferred him over the two. But I mean, so shit. We can go on about how terrible that last season was, but
I mean, now we're on the Iron Throne. What's the conclusion of this entire series?
Bran is king.
Who has a better story than Bran? See, now I can say it and you can't say shit.
Yes! I know you've been waiting for this moment since minute 1 of episode part 1.
Correct. Who has a better story than Bran? Probably most people.
Tyrion has a better story than Bran.
Honestly, you yourself, Tyrion, have a better story than Bran.
John has a better... Everybody, I don't know. Everybody else? Theon had a better fucking story than Bran.
Rip
his dick.
R.I.P.
Rip.
Oh my god!
Oh my god. True, but... Oh my god.
I didn't realize we brought Courtney on to be a fucking savage.
But, I mean, so we have Arya saying, oh, what's west of Westeros?
And I like that.
We have Sansa being the queen of the north.
I like that, too.
And she also looks like a bad bitch in that armor, though.
Yeah, she do.
Yeah.
Say whatever you want. The skill and level of costumes in this series is akin to Lord of the Rings.
Right. No, that's accurate. But you know what was also maybe the high point of season 7 and 8 that we haven't talked about at all? The score.
The soundtrack.
The score.
Oh,
okay, and I'll leave it at that.
no.
The score is amazing.
It's amazing.
Continue.
Oh, man.
So yeah, Sansa's queen. John goes north of the
And
wall
then
again.
they're just hey, John, you killed, at that point, the queen. So, you can just go back to the wall. And then the Unsullied, you can just go to this island where if you don't actually live there, everything is poisonous.
Was it Sotheros? Or where did they go?
It was... What island was that? It's Narth.
Narth.
Oh.
It's
Narth.
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 Not Narth.
In
It's
Estra-
Narth.
Because I was gonna say Tarth. And then I was like, no, it's an N. And you were like, Narth. And I was like, yeah, no!
And then there's Karth!
There's so many!
So it's Narth.
Yeah.
They go to this island where they have toxic butterflies, and they're just Grey Worm is just
Yeah,
Jon
Missandei wanted to go there. I'll go.
Yeah. So John goes to the wall where... I mean, now what's the point of the wall?
There isn't any.
Oh, okay.
That's the answer.
And then I can't remember even the final shot.
It was them at the council meeting. It was Tyrion. Bronn somehow was master of coin.
Oh my god! And they're and they told Tyrion that he wasn't in
The story.
the story
In the books.
when he engineered the battle of the Blackwater. when he was the hand of the queen, when he was the hand of the king,
Yeah.
when he was all of these things, and they're just like, haha, you weren't in it.
Damn.
So really, it's just an unrealistic, like, there's not a chance, like, it's funny. It's funny, just like, oh, sorry, dwarf, you weren't in it.
Doesn't make any.
But it doesn't, there's no...
In the scheme of things.
There's no possible reality where he's not actually in it.
Yeah.
And that's where we end.
Yeah, I guess, yeah, we have to get into, I think is going to be a pretty entertaining hot route. So I'll kick it off right away. Okay, we'll start with the first question.
What do we got for a
Okay,
hot route?
This can be for both of you because you've both read the book. Well, all going to be for both of you, but I'm glad you read the books because you guys have read up until Jon Snow's death. That's all that's out. Who, in your mind, was the most accurately casted character?
So, in my opinion, probably Arya. My dad and I both really liked Arya's story in the books. When I was reading them, I would call him and we'd go back and forth on her story and her kind of transformation from childhood and when she went to Bravos, and I loved watching her train underneath that one guy. I don't remember his name. Syrio, yes. And I really love that, and you see like that little spark. And of course, her story goes beyond the books when she's a badass in the show and she like, you know, stabs the Night King, and none of that is in the books, but I really liked her personality and how fierce she was as a child and fearless. I thought that they portrayed that really well, and I thought the actress did a great job. And she was never like described as like really beautiful, like, you know, maybe her siblings or other female characters in the books, but she was fierce, and I think she's probably my favorite character, and I felt satisfied with the portrayal of her in the show from the books.
Awesome. Okay. Edward?
Honestly, I think all of the Lannisters, they just fucking nailed. Like, Jaime, they just have this pretty boy coming in. Just, he's the best swordsman. He is. And you have his sister, who is this conniving, maybe not like the most like beautiful or stunning woman in the world, but she is very attractive. And then they have their little brother, the imp, who's just doesn't really care about anything. I mean, he's kind of just going with the flow. He's all about whores and coin. But really, the patriarch of this family, Tywin, I mean...
It always comes back to Tywin.
It always comes back to Tywin.
With you and me, it's always Tywin.
He was immaculate. Charles Dance is perfect.
He was. Mm-hmm.
Perfect. Everything he did, just, like I said on the last one, just commanded respect.
Commanding presence Charles Dance has on screen.
It was, I think that is the perfect, like, depiction of a character.
Okay. So, hot route number 2. Right. In your guys' mind, was Arya killing the Night King something you could roll with, or did you have something else in your head, like, about the Night King finally meeting his end? Like, are you cool with it, or did you see it happening a different way and you would have been more satisfied with that?
Just like how I described, you know, it wasn't a problem with what they did, it's a problem with how they did it. Same thing applies to this. She's been training to be an assassin for years now. That's been her whole kind of point. So it's not out of left field. Honestly, it's not. Like, we've seen that White Walkers can be killed by Valyrian steel. We don't know about the Night King. We realize later that he can't be killed by a dragonfire. But Valyrian steel, who knows? And we have this girl who has a Valyrian steel dagger. So it's entirely plausible. But for her to jump maybe 30 feet and just... then she gets grabbed by the throat, but then does a nice little trick move.
Switcheroo, got your ass.
And then stabs him. Hate it.
Court.
I gotta say, when she like drops the knife, that to me wasn't super believable that could defeat the Night King. I can appreciate the like cinematic effect and like the the way that the score works and how it has all this build and it's a character that you love.
The score was hot.
It was so good. And at that moment, it was just such a good feeling. I don't know if it's necessarily believable. They probably could have come up with something a little bit better. I would have to agree with Ed. But, I mean, was I satisfied? Yeah, I was satisfied. But like Ed said, if they would have maybe took more time, maybe come up with a little bit better way for the Night King to die, I would probably like it a little bit more.
Okay. And that'll take us to our last hot route, which we've been shitting on Season 8 this whole entire time.
Sure.
I want from you guys some good things about Season 8.
Good things about Season 8.
And don't make any jokes, because I don't want the answer to be, there are none.
I didn't even have any, but now I'm going to think of some.
Okay.
But honestly, some of the plot devices that they had, how everything was being set up, I think was really cool. I think how it became tactical. It became like, yeah, we talk about those first 2 episodes, like, well, you know, what's happening. But it's kind of them being tactical, preparing for the battle. And then after, we have episode 4 where they're kind of preparing and seeing what is going to happen when they go south. So the actual strategies really interested me.
Okay. Courtney?
So, probably the only kind of happy thing I can think about is the fact that Jon, after the fact that he kills Daenerys and his younger brother takes the throne, he's now kind of free of all of this stress. He's like, he can go to the Wall, which might not be the coolest place, the most happy place, but at least he's not dealing with all the bullshit in King's Landing, and he can just relax, I guess, and maybe live a content life. Maybe not extremely happy, but content.
Right.
The guy's definitely had all this pressure for, years. Years, like...
Since he was born, really, because he was treated like shit by Catelyn.
Yeah.
The entire time he was being raised before he went to the Wall, where
Honestly,
that didn't get much better there.
Treated like shit for no reason.
Yeah.
Catelyn knew that was not her son. So, I can understand her dislike for him.
Yes. It's this secret that Ned has for, I don't know, 15, 20 years. And then he's like, I'll take this to the grave with me. And then Sansa learns about it. And 3 minutes later, she's like, yo, guys.
Can't give a secret.
Guess what?
Also, this is a total side note, but Catelyn Stark, there's a whole complete story with, Lady Stoneheart, and that is not shown in the shows at all. And basically the theory was that it was Catelyn coming back as this other character called Lady Stoneheart.
We were talking about that when he came over today, because I started episode 1 today.
Okay.
Hell yeah. But that's what I'm saying. There's so many different characters that you just can't input into the show just because they're there for a short amount of time, or it's just different. Like Strong Belwas in Essos. Mm-hmm. Strong Belwas is just a huge guy who's just like, yeah, go ahead, you could cut my belly, I have 1,000 cuts on my belly, I don't care, go ahead and try to cut me up, try to win, and I'm still gonna kill you. And then he does.
Yeah. I don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
Yeah, it's just a guy, he's named Strong Belwas, that's it. So we have all these different characters, but we'll close it out by saying, started off one of the most hype shows. Honestly, it didn't get a lot of good reviews at the beginning, but because everybody was just like, oh, this is just boobs. This is just sex.
Too much nudity, too much rape, too much assault, a lot of negative connotations with it. I remember reading that.
Yeah, so that's kind of how it started out, and then the seasons progressed, and you're like, oh, this is a very good story. This is progressing in a way that engages me. It kind of brings me into another world. And then we get into a lot of battle sequences where it's very exciting. It's kind of draws in a bigger audience. And then really it ends on just a subpar note, to say the least. Actually, to say the most.
I would agree. And like I said, even though the ending was botched, it's still number 2 in my top 5 movie series. Or TV series. So yeah, on that, God bless. I guess even 2 episodes wasn't even enough. down the road, maybe, weeks and months, we can revisit Game of Thrones. But for now, we're going to put this to bed. I'd like to thank Court for coming on the show and being a nerd with us.
Yeah.
It's always great to have someone else in here talking with us.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah. And, Ed, everybody, this has been Almost Agreeable.
Thanks for stopping by.
Thank you for listening to another episode of Almost Agreeable. You can catch all new episodes on Tuesdays and Thursdays. If you enjoyed the podcast, please like, rate, and subscribe. And don't forget to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Almost Agreeable.